Some of the smartest people I know are financially stuck, not because they lack opportunity, and not because they don't work hard, but because intelligence often creates hesitation. Smart people like understanding. They want the full picture. They want certainty before they act. But money doesn't reward certainty. It rewards motion. Wealth is not built by making the smartest decision once. It's built by making a good decision consistently. High IQ minds tend to over-optimize. They wait for the perfect system, the perfect timing, the perfect plan. And while they wait, nothing compounds. Average thinkers move earlier. They make mistakes. They adjust. But they stay in motion. And motion is what creates leverage. Here's a trap smart people fall into. They confuse preparation with progress. Reading feels productive. Research feels responsible. But money doesn't care how prepared you feel. It cares what you do repeatedly. Information without execution doesn't compound. Action does. Another issue is optionality. Smart people like keeping options open. They don't want to lock themselves into one path. But wealth requires commitment. When everything is possible, nothing accelerates. The wealthy remove choices. They automate decisions. They simplify behavior. They don't rely on discipline, because discipline is fragile. They rely on systems. Systems don't get tired. They don't negotiate. They don't procrastinate. Smart people often try to outthink risk. Wealthy people manage it. They understand that avoiding risk entirely is the riskiest move of all, because time is the only asset you can't replace. Waiting feels safe, but waiting has a cost. Every year you delay consistency is a year compound growth doesn't work for you. This is why income alone doesn't fix financial stress. Many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck, because money management is behavioral, not intellectual. Wealthy people design their lives to make good decisions automatic. They don't ask, "What should I do today?" They've already decided. They know where money goes. They know how much is invested. They know what happens next without thinking about it. Smart people often ask, "How do I optimize this?" Wealthy people ask, "How do I remove friction?" That's the difference. Wealth doesn't require genius. It requires consistency long enough for time to do its job. And time only works for people who stay in motion. Here's where most people misdiagnose the problem. They think the issue is motivation. It's not. Motivation is emotional. Wealth is mechanical. Smart people wait until they feel ready. Wealthy people act before they feel confident. Because confidence comes from evidence, and evidence comes from repetition. This is why systems matter. A system removes choice, and choice is where hesitation lives. Every time you decide manually, you create friction. Every time you rely on willpower, you introduce failure points. Wealthy people design environments where the correct action is the default. Money moves automatically. Savings happen automatically. Investments happen automatically. There's no debate, no internal negotiation. Smart people often resist this. They want flexibility. They want control. But flexibility without direction becomes drift. Control without structure becomes stress. Another trap is identity. Smart people like being the person who understands money. But understanding doesn't pay dividends. Ownership does. Execution does. There's a subtle shift here. Wealthy people don't ask, "What's the best option?" They ask, "What's the option I can stick with long enough for compounding to work?" Because compounding is brutally boring. It's quiet. It's slow. It doesn't reward excitement. It rewards patience and consistency. This is why flashy strategies rarely build wealth. They feel productive. They feel intelligent. But they interrupt the one thing that actually works. Time in the system. Smart people often restart. They change approaches. They refine plans. They redesign spreadsheets. Wealthy people continue. They stay with something that's working even when it feels dull, especially when it feels dull. Another difference is how mistakes are handled. Smart people avoid mistakes by delaying action. Wealthy people expect mistakes and price them in. They don't need perfection. They need survivability. They build systems that can absorb error without collapsing. That's why they move sooner. They understand that speed beats elegance when learning. You don't learn wealth by thinking about money. You learn it by managing money in the real world, watching behavior, watching emotions, watching what breaks. This is where income becomes irrelevant. You can make more money and still repeat the same patterns. Because patterns don't change with income. They change with structure. Wealth is built when behavior stabilizes, when decisions are fewer, when rules are clear. Smart people ask, what should I do next? Wealthy people already know, because they decided once and automated the rest. That's the real leverage. Not intelligence, not hustle, but removing yourself from daily financial decisions as much as possible. The goal isn't to be clever. It's to be consistent longer than most people. Because time does the heavy lifting for those who stay in motion.